Welcome to the You on the Camino de Santiago podcast. This podcast is for and about first-time pilgrims walking the pilgrimage routes in Spain, France, and Portugal. With your host, guide and longtime pilgrim, Nancy Reynolds of the Camino Experience. How do you guarantee your success when you take on a big goal? How do you ensure you will actually hit the mark when you set your sights on something way outside your comfort zone? And maybe way outside anything you have ever done before. That's what we'll be talking about in this episode of the You on the Camino de Santiago podcast. Your goals, your big dreams, you having what you want in your life. Whether that's walking the Camino, being in your best health or shape ever, starting a new business, writing a book about your pilgrimage, building a dream relationship, or anything else you're dreaming of doing, being, or having in your life. You on the Camino, you in your life, fully, completely you. Hi, this is Nancy, and in this episode, I'm picking up where we left off in episode 101, talking about goals. Before we get to that, though, let me check in about last week's episode, in which Adam shared his experiences on the Camino Português. I loved that conversation. Adam shared how he came to realize again how beautiful life can be. And he brought up a question I think we all need to ponder at some point. Are we putting too much pressure on our Camino pilgrimage to live up to some starry-eyed expectations we may have? Well, those weren't Adam's exact words, but you get the idea. Are we expecting the Camino to solve a lifetime of problems, disappointments, and pain? Wow, I could do a whole episode on that topic. There was a little glitch with Adam's episode. A few of the podcast players and apps wouldn't share the episode with you because it had the words content warning in the header. It's all fixed now, and that episode should be available wherever you listen to this podcast. So if you missed it, it is available now. Let me give a big thanks to my friend Maurice for alerting me to the problem. Okay, let me give you a rundown of what I'll be talking about today. I want to revisit the top 3 points from episode 102, just briefly, and expand on one of those points. Then we will look at how to bring your goals to life, and I will share with you 5 tactical steps you can take today to move you closer to your goals. And lastly, I'll have some tips for you on how to guarantee your success, how to guarantee you will meet your goals, or at least increase the chances exponentially. Okay, let's get started with the flashback to episode 102. In that episode, I talked about 3 things. 1, why we are not reaching our goals. 2, how to craft a goal that hits the mark. And 3, my number 1 success strategy for reaching your goals. It's that third one that I want to spend some time with to dig deeper and understand why this strategy is so successful. Do you remember my number 1 success strategy for reaching your goals? It's to write down your goals every day, morning and night. For example, write down your Camino goal, preferably in the notebook you are using to plan and prepare for your Camino. Then tomorrow, first thing in the morning, write down your goal again. Don't just look at what you've already written. Don't just read it. Instead, flip to a clean page and write it down again, saying it out loud as you do. Then that evening, just before lights out, do that again. The next day, do it again, both morning and night. Every day, write down your goal and say it out loud, clear as can be, both first thing in the morning when you wake up and the last thing you do at the end of the day before going to sleep. I've been doing this every day and night since January 25th, so for about a month. And I'm noticing some very interesting shifts, subtle shifts, and I've become very clear why this strategy is working. As a refresher, in episode 102, I shared 2 of my goals that I'm working on right now: to serve, help, guide, and support 5,000 pilgrims in 2025, and to weigh 145 pounds by September 3rd, 2025. This public declaration is, I admit, a bit intimidating. What if I fail in front of all of you? Well, I can tell you, I am highly motivated not to fail, highly motivated to reach my goals. How about you? How motivated are you to reach your goals? I want to encourage you to go big. That doesn't mean you have to share your goals with the world like I'm doing, but why not? Are you willing to stand by your goals? What goal are you working on right now? I'd like you to keep that goal in mind as I talk about the 3 things I've discovered by writing my goals every day, morning and night. The first thing I've discovered is that I have become laser focused on achieving my goals. I think about them all the time, or at least most of the time. And by thinking about them, I am steadily moving toward achieving them, even if I don't have specific action steps on my to-do list every day. Here's an example. This weight loss goal, which I have previously referred to as my forever weight loss goal, because I always seem to be wanting or trying to lose weight. Historically, my MO, or modus operandi, has been to set the goal, make a list of things I should be doing and things I should and shouldn't be eating, then write up a strict meal plan. Then I go to the grocery store and overshop on healthy foods. Next, I put together a rigorous exercise schedule that I plan to force myself to do. I look at the plan woefully, motivated by guilt, and deep inside, I know I don't really want to eat those foods. I'd rather be eating cookies, ice cream, and pizza. I really don't want to go to the gym or lift weights, but I know I should do those things. Oh boy, should do those things. I always start out with great enthusiasm and hope, which lasts, about a day or 2. And then the cookies win. All the organic produce rots in the fridge. The show I've been binge watching wins. Comfort wins every time. Don't get me wrong, I haven't always tanked at this game. There was that one time back in the year 2000 when I nailed it. If only I could crack the code on that success. Oh, wait, I know what it was. It was focus. The goal was all I thought about. It was my top priority. But I don't know about you. I can't always sit down and work on my goals. Sometimes other things have to be attended to. You probably have some of these things too. Work, family, friendships, car maintenance, paying the bills, buying pet food and going to vet visits, making sure the lives of everyone else in your inner circle are humming along. So here's the magic of writing your goals every day. You spend 5 minutes, morning and evening, paying close attention to your goals, why you want what you want, and what it's going to feel like when they come to be. And your subconscious mind works on them all darn day and night. Here's what's happening for me. Every day I write down all of my goals, and then I mostly work on the ones related to my Camino business, specifically how I'm going to serve 5,000 pilgrims this year. I haven't put together a master food and exercise plan, but my subconscious mind is working behind the scenes. I have long known that the only way I am ever satisfied with food is if I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want. Usually that's the previously mentioned cookies, ice cream, and pizza. But since I've been writing my weight loss goal every day, morning and night, something curious has been happening. I don't want to eat cookies, ice cream, and pizza. Say what now? I know, crazy. You heard it here. For the past few weeks, my go-to food thoughts and wants have been for healthy foods. You should hear what's going on in my mind. Things like, hey, can I add broccoli to that? An apple would be a good choice of snack right now. Oh, I think I'll go make a pot of vegetable soup instead of watching the show. Hey, I have a minute. I'll stop by the store for some zucchini and a bag of shredded cabbage. Who is this person? These are not my thoughts, but they are. They are because I've been feeding my subconscious mind my weight goal and thoughts of health. Here's the takeaway. If you have a goal, focus on it every day, morning and night, even if you can't set aside time now to take tangible, concrete steps toward achieving it. If your goal is to walk the Camino, but you have no idea how it will ever happen, or if you have no idea how it will happen when you want it to happen, write the goal in your notebook twice a day and let the supercomputer of your mind go to work on it. The next benefit of writing your goals every day, morning and night, is one I mentioned in episode 102, but I want to touch on it again. And that is that writing your goals this way opens the floodgates for new ideas. If your goal is to walk the Camino, but you have no idea how to make that happen, maybe you don't have the time or the money, or maybe you're afraid to set out on your own. By writing down your goals, you tap into something even more powerful than your subconscious mind. What you call this may depend on your beliefs about God, the universe, and even psychology. You could call this your intuition, that little voice inside. You could call it God or the Holy Spirit or the superconscious mind. See, there are ideas and thoughts out there waiting to be ours, waiting to match up with what our hearts truly desire. But they have to be invited in and, more importantly, acknowledged. My morning practice is to write my goals and then get quiet and listen for what thought comes next. Often it's a statement about the person I will have to become to have that goal in my life, or who I will be when I have realized the goal. For example, who is the person who serves 5,000 pilgrims, who supports, guides, and helps them meet their goals of walking the Camino de Santiago? What fears and doubts will I have to set aside to play that big? What ideas have I not yet thought of that, when shared, will catapult your Camino dream into the reality of walking the Camino? I get my best ideas in two places: the shower, in the morning after I've just written out my goals and spent some time with them, and when I'm out for my almost daily walk. When do you get your best ideas? And how are you capturing them? These ideas, the ones you don't yet have when you first write down your goals, are how you fast-track achieving your goals. And you get to them by writing down your goals and thinking about them most of the time. There's one more thing about writing your goals every day, morning and night. One more thing about how I think the subconscious mind works. I think what's happening is that my subconscious mind has set up I'll call them guardrails to guide my actions and lead me toward achieving my goals. Let me explain. This past week, I set myself a sub-goal to break a weight milestone. I wanted to break or get below 160 pounds. I was so focused this past week. I ate so well. I mean, there were vegetables at every meal, no bread, no pasta, no sweets, nothing. I went for my 45-minute walk 4 times this week. When I looked in the mirror throughout the week, I could see I was getting smaller. My favorite jacket that a month ago I couldn't zip up all the way, zipped right up on Wednesday. And then came weigh-in day. Darn that scale. You know this one, right? It hadn't moved an ounce, not a gram, nothing. Usually, historically, my reaction to this would have been, screw it. I'm getting ice cream today. Obviously, I'm never going to lose this weight. I suck. The scale sucks. I quit. But then I remembered, this is a sub-goal, not the big goal. All that happened is that I didn't meet a deadline I'd set for myself. My goal is still my goal, and I still have so much to celebrate as I move toward the finish line. And here's the most important part. The guardrails are still in place. Why? Because I've been focusing on this goal every day and writing it down morning and night. And my subconscious mind is now unmovable on the topic. No ice cream today, only veg soup with broccoli, which, by the way, I now love. And by the way, 2 days later, the scale moved and I met my sub-goal of breaking 160. Have any of your goals become derailed? If they have, don't worry. Give yourself a break. Give yourself some love and appreciation for what you have done this week. And keep on writing those goals every day, morning and night. So a quick review of the 3 benefits of writing your goals every day. The practice keeps you laser focused on your goals. It opens the floodgates for new ideas on how to reach your goals. And it gives you guardrails to keep you on track. Now, let's spend just a moment on how to bring your goals to life. Yes, I did touch on this in episode 102, but I want to turn up the volume on this one. Hopefully, each time you write your goals, you will spend a few minutes imagining what it will be like when you achieve them. Who will you be when you reach your goals? Once a week, take it a step further and spend some extra time imagining, visioning, and feeling you having met your goal. Are you inspired by your goal? Does it light you up and make you want to jump out of bed to work on it? Here's a benchmark for you. I read this in a book by Sue Monk Kidd about 12 years ago, and it stuck with me. The book is called The Mermaid Chair, and Kidd's lead character, a middle-aged woman, was sharing how unimpressed she was with herself. Here's what she said. At 42, I had never done anything that took my own breath away. And I suppose now that was part of the problem, my chronic inability to astonish myself. Can you imagine a Camino experience that will take your breath away and astonish you by the very fact that you did it? How's that for something to aim for? What would that feel like for you? When you visualize your goals and imagine how you feel when you achieve them, when you imagine yourself on the Camino, turn up the volume. That tells your subconscious mind that you are serious about this goal. This brings your goal to life, to your life, which is why you're doing this. You fully alive right in the middle of your life. Now, your conscious mind knows you're serious about your goals, so let's give it something to work on. Specifically, I'd like to share 5 tactical steps to more confidently move towards your goals. These 5 tactical steps are going to guide you to tackle the biggest challenge of all, taking action in the right direction. If you've been writing down your goals every day, morning and night, then take a moment to congratulate yourself. You are part of an elite group. I recently read a statistic that only 3% of people actually write down their goals. We all have dreams and fantasies, yes, and we regularly think about what we want, but only a small percentage of people go that extra life-altering step of writing down their goals. I hope you will join the top 3%. But writing down your goals isn't enough. This is where I have, in the past, dropped the ball. Goals written, hooray! But then what? Here's step 1. Pull out your calendar and block out some time to work on your goals. I call this my goal summit, my time set aside just for this very special project. For this first meeting of your goal summit, I would suggest planning for at least 2 hours. I know that's a big block of time for a lot of you. You might have to give up something else to make this happen. Where do you hold your first goal summit? I would pick a place that meets 2 criteria. 1, it's a place where you won't be interrupted or called away by other tasks or by other people's needs. You know what I mean, right? You want to be away from the laundry and the dirty dishes, away from email and work duties, and away from the people who you care for on a daily basis. The second criteria is that it's a place that inspires creativity in you. That could be a picnic table in a local park, a bench at the beach, or a bustling coffee shop in a diverse neighborhood. It could be a lobby cafe in a fancy hotel, or even on your back patio if you are able to turn off and tune out all other distractions. Wherever you choose, make sure you have snacks and drinks for the duration so you don't have to step away for those. Treat this goal summit like you would a very important meeting or appointment you scheduled with a hard-to-get-in-with professional. Like the dental appointment you scheduled 6 months in advance and can't miss because then you would have to wait another 2 months to get in. Or like the appointment with the $500 an hour lawyer who is drawing up your legal documents. In other words, be there. Show up at the appointed time, ready to get to work. This is your dreams come true time. What do you bring to this goal summit? In addition to snacks and drinks, bring along lots of paper or a big notebook and pens and pencils. Be prepared for temperature variations and bring along a jacket or throw blanket to keep you warm in case the air conditioning is on too high or the heat is off. Here's another question. Who do you invite to your goal summit? Well, if this is your Camino goal and you are going to be walking the Camino solo on your own, then the guest list for this first goal summit is only you. On the other hand, if you will be walking the Camino with a spouse or partner, with a friend, or with a group of people, you have a choice. If the others are as interested as you are in the planning process, then by all means invite them. If not, then there's no reason why this can't be all you time. Now for step 2. Once you are settled in at your goal summit, choose which goal you want to work on first. For the sake of this discussion, we will, of course, assume your first goal is your Camino goal. Take out a clean piece of paper and write that goal at the top of the page. Be sure to use the same format we've been using: personal, positive, first person with a deadline. For example, I walk the Camino Frances in September 2025. I start alone and take 35 days to reach Santiago de Compostela. And then, let the free-form brainstorming begin. Here's a good starting point. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to make this goal happen? And then list everything you can think of. As you make your list, you will likely discover some gaps in your knowledge base. For example, if you know you need to buy a backpack for the Camino, you may need to do some research. So I'd like to add in this question. What do I need to know to make this goal happen? Well, you need to know what kind of backpack you should get. How big should it be? How do you select a backpack that fits you correctly? Wait, what if you don't want to carry a backpack? Then you would need to know how the luggage transport services work. How much does it cost? Does it fit into your budget? Wait, how much is this entire trip going to cost? In order to put together a budget, you need to know how much things cost along the Camino, things like food and accommodations, how much for the flight over there, how much to get from the airport to your starting point. There are a lot of rabbit holes to go down when planning for the Camino. So all we're doing in this step is making a list of everything that has to be done to make this goal a reality. I've worked most of this out for you, by the way, or at least a high-level outline with my Camino planning roadmap. You can get your copy by following the link in the show notes or by going to my website, thecaminoexperience.com. I recently went through this process for my big 2025 goal to serve 5,000 pilgrims this year. One of the items on my to-do list was to survey my email list, to ask them what they needed. And then after that, to host a couple of focus group Zoom calls to talk to my audience and hear what was on their mind and how I could serve them better. See, I have some ideas about how to serve my pilgrim audience, but I don't have all the answers. This happens all the time when we go after big goals. We immediately realize that we need more information. At this point, I would like to introduce the idea of feasibility. Feasibility means, can it be done? Can I serve 5,000 pilgrims in a year? Sure, it's a leap, but can it be done? Yes. Can you walk the Camino this year? Sure, it's going to take something, some big effort and focus, but can it be done? Yes. Can you start a business? Can you write a book? Can you buy a nicer house or move into a nicer apartment? Yes. But with all of these things, it's going to take something. And you won't know what it will take until you complete this step. Write down everything that has to happen, everything you have to learn in order to achieve your goal. How do I know these things can be done? Because other people have already done them. Let me insert something here. You can do this step regardless of where you are relative to achieving your goal. And it's a good idea to do it throughout the journey, maybe even every month as you plan, prepare, and move closer to your goal. Sometimes when we do that, when we go after these big goals, when we start to write down everything that has to happen to achieve them, is that we, let's say, freak ourselves out. As you make your list of things that have to be done and of what you need to learn about, you may have this reaction I often have. Holy smokes, this is huge. This is too big, too much. How am I ever going to make this happen? Well, don't worry. We have some more tactics to talk about, and then I'll give you my top 3 ideas for guaranteeing your success. Okay, so we've got the goal summit scheduled. We show up at the goal summit and we brainstorm like crazy to get down on paper everything that has to be done to make this goal a reality. The third step is to focus on the negative. Wait, I said that wrong. Don't focus on the negative. Rather, identify and anticipate what obstacles you might face as you pursue your goal. Here's how to uncover the obstacles. Ask yourself, what might get in the way of me reaching this goal? Why haven't I achieved this goal yet? And write down everything you can think of that is getting in the way or could get in the way of you reaching your goal. Why do we do this? Because we want to anticipate those obstacles and break them apart before they show up. You may discover that the only reason you haven't reached your goal is that it simply takes time to get there. If you want to walk the Camino in the fall, for example, you have to wait for September. If I want to serve 5,000 pilgrims, it will take some time to create the programs and services I want to offer. Losing weight takes time, unless I want to drop 20 pounds by amputating a body part, which I don't. You may also discover that more practical obstacles are in your way, like not having the money for the trip or not being able to take the time away from home or work to walk the Camino. By bringing these obstacles to the light of day, by writing them down, you can then work on them one at a time, which we'll talk about in a moment. When you do this step, when you brainstorm the obstacles between you and your goal, it's likely that you will identify some more things that you have to learn and areas where you will need support. Note them all. Once you've completed these brainstorming rounds, take a step back and look at your work. You have already come a long way from that moment when you identified what you want to where you are now, having a specific, measurable goal with a deadline. and you are now so much closer to having your goal realized in your life. Well done. The fourth step is to cull your list and identify some sub-goals. This is where you break down your big goal into smaller sub-goals. Here are some examples. My bed at Auberge Borda is booked by March 1st. I have the perfect backpack by May 1st. My flight to Europe is booked by June 15th. My travel fund has $3,000 in it by July 15th. Notice that I'm using the same format as we used for our big goals: personal, first person, positive, with a deadline. Once you write your sub-goals, add them to your daily practice of writing your goals every day, morning and night. This helps you to stay focused, and it cues your subconscious mind to start looking for new ideas on how to meet these smaller goals. When you reach one of these sub-goals, celebrate. These are the milestones that remind us we are on the right path. You are that much closer to your big goal. We are, of course, talking about walking the Camino, but I'd like to share with you another goal I had a while back and how I met that goal. In 1997, I wanted to quit my job and travel around the world with a couple friends. At the time I set the goal, I had a decently paying job that I hated, $8,000 in credit card debt, and no money in the bank. I also had a departure date, a deadline. 9 months after I set the goal to go on that trip, I was on a plane to New Zealand, our first stop of many. I had no credit card debt and $10,000 in the bank. How did I do it? I thought about that goal every minute of every day. I saved every penny I could and wiped out most of my expenses. I told everyone, except my boss, what I was planning to do. Crazy things started to happen. A friend got a line on a car I could have for free if I was willing to pay for an inexpensive repair it needed. So I sold the car I already had, fixed this other car, and in the process eliminated my monthly car payment. I started asking around for a low-cost room to rent so I could lower that monthly bill. And a friend invited me to live in the in-law apartment on her property. The rent? $0. It was a gift because she believed in my dream. Meanwhile, I was traveling for business a lot, which meant my company was covering some of my food expenses. How did this all happen? I stated my big goal. I listed everything I would have to do to make it a reality. With the help of one of my travel mates, I identified all the obstacles in my way and brainstormed solutions. And I set smaller sub-goals that would take me step by step to my big goal. And then I did the most important thing of all, the final step I want to talk about today. I took action immediately. So at the end of your goal summit, the final step is to do something, anything, that starts the movement toward your goal. Make a phone call, look something up online, go to a gear shop, open a special bank account for your travel funds, buy a Camino app or guidebook. Reach out to me and let's get you set up with the group I'm leading in September. For my goal to serve 5,000 pilgrims in 2025, my first big steps were the survey to my email list and the focus groups. By taking those first steps, I now know where I'm headed next. I have the most important tool in the toolbox, momentum. And that's what you will have when you get into action. Now, let's look at how to guarantee your success. Let's make sure you get to the finish line on your goals. I have 3 things to share with you here that will guarantee your success, or at least increase your odds exponentially. Number 1, identify your superpower and use it. What are you really good at? What do people count on you for? What do they expect you to do because you are so darn good at it? Identify it, name it, write it down, and splash it all over your big list of things to do to make your goal a reality. Lean into what you are good at. This is where we can each spread our wings and fly. This is where you are already confident. And while you're at it, identify your not superpower. What are you not so good at? What tasks do you wish you didn't have to do yourself? I remember my time in the corporate world working for financial institutions. Every year at my performance review, they would ask what I thought I could work on. What were my weaknesses that I really should try to improve? Looking back, I can see that was a waste of time. I would have been way more effective if I had focused on my strengths, dealing with people and teaching what were called soft skills, and bringing all of those to the job, rather than trying to get better at, say, reading financial statements. High-performing sports teams know this. Each team player plays the position they are best at, and they leave the other positions to the other players. You want the quarterback to be the best quarterback possible. You want the forward on the basketball team to be the best possible forward, and you let the other teammates be the best at their positions. How does this apply to you? If you're not good at something, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. If you don't love the details, find someone else to attend to them. If you don't like booking travel online, find a travel agent to do it for you. If you tend to be disorganized, sign up for a program that walks you through the planning process one step at a time in a linear fashion, like my Camino Getting Started audio guide. Now is the perfect time to start being more of who you are. And that means using your superpowers and letting everyone else use theirs. Number 2, for how to guarantee your success, create a vision board or other visual display to represent your goal. Our subconscious minds love images and visuals. It loves the emotions they evoke. So, goal-achieving superstars know the importance of creating a visual display. There's actually science behind this. Our brains are powerful supercomputers, and there is a part of the brain that works as somewhat of a search engine, sorting and bringing to our attention the results of our searches. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS, and when directed, it will find what you're looking for and point it out to you. Here's an example. Let's say you decide you want to own and drive a red Jeep. You set a goal, cut out a picture of a red Jeep and put it on your refrigerator, and then, crazy thing happens. You start to notice red Jeeps everywhere. It's likely they were already there, but now you're noticing them because your RAS is working on it. When you create a vision board and put photos and images of the boots and backpack you want, the shared pilgrim meals you want to attend, the airport you want to land in when you get to Europe, and so on, your RAS is going to start pointing out everything that matches those images, everything that takes you closer to that goal. This is, of course, the most simplistic description of RAS. If you want to know more, you know how to do it. The search engine in the digital world, Google, or one of the many books on the topic at your library or local bookstore. For now, I invite you to try this out for yourself. Here's how to create a vision board. Get a piece of poster board or a large piece of paper, a stack of magazines, some colored pens or pencils, and a glue stick. Flip through the magazine looking for words and pictures that represent your goal or draw out the feeling you are seeking with your goal. Cut those out and create a collage that represents your Camino experience. Then hang it where you can see it every day when you write your goals. If you would like to learn more about making vision boards, try this. Do a quick Google search with the words, "How to make a vision board," and you'll get plenty of ideas. Okay, are you ready for the third and final step that will guarantee you reach your goals? Here it is. Know what's really behind your goals. Know why you want what you want. This might take some exploration to be able to put into words the emotions or feelings propping up your goals. Here's the shortcut. Consider the question, how will you feel when you achieve your goal? That's it. What is the feeling you are after? Are you longing for freedom, connection, joy, peace within, healing, exhilaration, excitement? Our emotions are what pull us towards our dreams and goals. Find the emotion, and you find yourself immersed in the fulfillment of your goals. This is so important because sometimes our goals don't turn out exactly like we envisioned. Sometimes they are delayed. They come later than expected. When we load our goals with feelings and emotions, then we will be satisfied when we feel the way we wanted to feel, regardless of how the goal manifests. As an example, when I reach my weight loss goal, I want to feel strong, fit, lean, and agile. If I feel that way, will I really care what the scale says? What do you want to feel? What experience do you want in your life, regardless of if or when you walk the Camino? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Okay, we have covered a lot of ground today. You have your 3 tips to guarantee you reach your goals, or at least increase the chances exponentially. You have your 5 tactics or steps to take today to move you closer to your goals. And you have the tool for bringing your goals fully to life. You also have the number 1 strategy for keeping your focus, tapping into new ideas, and keeping the guardrails on your goals. And that is writing them down every day, morning and night. If you get to this point and you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by how much there is to do to get ready to walk the Camino, and your superpower feels like planning a beach vacation instead, don't worry. Take a break, go for a walk, and then come back to the task. If in all this brainstorming you discover you would like to bring in someone with a getting ready for the Camino superpower, I've got you covered. Stop by my website, thecaminoexperience.com, to find out the different ways I help pilgrims make their Camino dreams a reality. And if you are imagining yourself walking the Camino and you'd like to start building your Camino family before you even get to the trail, I would love to chat with you about joining my Camino Experience group that starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-du-Port in September. Drop me an email at nancy@thecaminoexperience.com or swing by my website and look for the menu tab called Walk With Me. Again, the website is thecaminoexperience.com. That's it for this episode. I will be back next week with some more wisdom from another seasoned pilgrim. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.